Alrighty, test here in the LMP3, newly implemented LMP3 car. Iris has been talking this thing up for a little while before it came out, so excited to try it. It does look pretty good, as you see right here, sounds alright. But obviously the main prototype deal was the Cadillac added, but this was kind of thrown in as well, so we'll see what class this is. More likely it'll be its own like C-class deal, kind of sprint race thing possibly. I'm gonna guess D or C. But yeah, definitely it's gonna be a fun one and excited to test it, so let's jump right into it and see how it goes. Jumping into the interior, so you see we are sitting on the right side, which is a little funky. The race logic, it has all this stuff over here, but we are sitting on the right side, which is questionable. Personally, I've never sat on the right side, so I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't really like sitting on the right side, but it does sound okay. The brakes have a different sound when you're like warming them up. That part is different. I do like the steering wheel and the lights a lot. Okay, I don't like this. I just missed the bottom completely. Okay. Good to know. First laps on it. Let's see. I'm assuming it's just a slower LMP2, which is, I mean, what it's supposed to be, just a base to try to get into it. You're sitting on the right side, you can't see nothing. It does seem pretty stable, just being a little cautious with it. Let me see anything in the in-car adjustment, traction control, throttle shape, brake bias. So there is that. But other than that, there's really not much to change on this. There's no auto fuel to be added, which is nice. I hate that thing. See, can we brake at the light for it? Oh yeah, plenty by the light. We're not going fast enough and it has good enough brakes. Alright, well, to the chicane, let's try to run a lap or see. It feels like just a, I mean, that's kind of the ranking system for the prototype cars. It's going to be, it's similar to a GT car, I guess. On the speed wise, actually no, it's slower than a GT3. But, at least mile an hour wise, we're only doing 160. Hard on the brakes. It does stop really, really nicely. Is that going to matter if it's a D class heading into turn 1? Not really, but it does stop really well. Struggling just to see where all that is. Especially on these right-handers, struggling a lot with that. And there's no saving it once it goes. Well. Oh well. No saving it when it went there. Let's check out some damage model. Let me hit something. Oh, we already need a meatball for just backing it into the fence. Wow, okay. Let's see. Well, okay. I think we've wrecked. Let's take a look and see what happened. Alright, so you see here going through the kink, we get a little loose on the brakes. I did adjust brake bias, put it too much to the rear. And that touch made us need a meatball. So I've been seeing a lot of things where they say that the cars are now made of paper. So I'm really shocked by that, but let's see what happened. Let's throw it in slow motion and see what happened here. Ooh, hard up in the air. Everything flew off, doing a few spins. Landed back on the wheels. Wow, so it destroyed this thing. Hold on, let's get a better look at it here. Not pit lane. Par chase. So you can see it destroyed something. Holy crap. See the tires, Michelin tires. But I mean, it ripped off the whole body, everything. Wow. That is pretty insane. So it just tore the front nose off, immediately went into a flip. It feels like it's made of like paper. I mean, I barely hit anything in it. It for sure, like said, you're done. Like, no more. Hold on. So if I just like, is that gonna be a meatball? Is that meatball? Oh yeah, the front nose is off. It's not turning. Yeah, so that's meatball. I mean, toe is knocked out, but I just backed it in the fence. Why was that weird? A lot of the cars are just made of paper now. Huh. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but still, like, you should be able to hit. Like, they messed up the dirt. I need to post a video on that and run a race on that because they really did mess that up. But, man, it's just nothing is going right now. It is crazy. One thing I really do like about this thing is the dash lights, or the steering wheel. I like that a lot. I wish that you could like customize steering wheels or something. That'd be kind of cool. Invest some safety or have another graph thing, and hopefully, you know, just the more races you run, you get like coins or something that you could invest on interior looks. I don't know. That would be cool, but iRacing's never gonna do that. Something to customize, not the outside, but just, you know, something with it. Have a different looking steering wheel. So it revs out to 7,000. 69-ish. Into the chicane. You see it go for a little twitch there. On the brakes. It does like want to go on brakes. It really does want to hook a little. But I don't know about sitting here. It really feels weird on the right side, which a lot of these corners are left-handers, and being able to fill, but on the right-handers, it's a pain to just see where the corner is on that. So it'll just be a getting used to thing, but you definitely hear the brakes there. When they're cold, they'll make that noise. So when it's not doing that, you'll know that they're warmed up. But yeah, this is interesting. Turn, please. See, I don't even know where the corner is. I got no clue. Which, yeah, it's a feel thing, whatever, but I've driven thousands of laps on the left side, so now I'm just trying to get used to it. But it is definitely a getting used to thing. As you can see, you can't do nothing on the right-handers. Pretty damn good on the left-hander, though. That makes sense. NASCAR. Alrighty, let's jump out of this thing. Let's see how good does it brake. Let's hit 150 and then slam on the brakes. So, well, it's got pretty good. Never mind. All right, let's go take a listen and watch it for a lap. So here, it does look pretty cool. And that doesn't sound too bad either. It's got a pretty low grumble. It's obviously not going to be as good as the Cadillac, but it does look cool going around Daytona. But yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a fun car to jump into. Hopefully it's a D class. I really hope it's not. I hope it's not like messed up and, you know, everybody struggles with it, or you jump in a race and it's just complete breakfast. I do think it's going to be good. But it's going to be a struggle to see where everything's at. You seeing it go by here? It does look pretty cool. I like the base livery on it, paint scheme on it, but it does, it's two things with it is the brakes. Those are a little touchy, which I could have adjusted brake bias and that'd be why. It does sound pretty good. Not as good as that Cadillac. I don't think anything ever will, but and then obviously on the right-handers getting used to it, but it'll be a C, D class, I think, hopefully a D, but I'm hoping it doesn't just, you jump in a race and you're going to get wrecked in turn one. I hope it's not one of those races. I hope it's a C, and then they move the LMP2 Sprint to B class, and that would be kind of a good thing with it. But you know, this thing's a lot of fun to drive. I'm going to set it out for a qualifying lap here, and we'll see what lap time I get, how fast I can get it around Daytona. I know the Cadillac ran a 130, so we'll see if this gets anywhere close. Highly doubt it. We'll guess 10 seconds off. We'll see. Alrighty, I'm going to just head around to the front stretch and try to get a fast lap in. We'll see what time it does. I'm not for sure how fast it will go, but I did lower fuel and a few different things that I know. Well, pretty much just lower fuel. That's all I really did. I don't really know much about the road setups, but we'll see how fast this thing can go. See how fast I can get it to go. We'll see. Man, it gets loose right there for no reason. I got traction control down to 1 and it's still like, it just, I don't know. This thing is funky to drive. It takes a bit to get used to. Alright, well, lap is done. We'll see what we're able to get out of it. Done a few, and man, it just, it's different to drive, I'll say that. It's slower than a GT3 car, but it is way different to drive than anything. It is a 44.9, so it's the same speed as a GT3 pretty much. I mean, it probably could get a second better out of it, which, I mean, a lot of people can do better lap times than me and stuff, but this is one thing I struggle with, especially that, because there's no sense of feel into it. You can't see where you're going because of the giant pillar in the way. So, yeah, let me back out and talk about overall review with this thing. Alrighty, well, to end off the video, I'm gonna do a little bit of talking about it. So, it is a lot of differing factors put into it. I've driven the LMP2, I drove the Cadillac before, and I've driven thousands of laps of GT3s around here, and enjoyness, I think it still drives better than the LMP2, but I think that's funner. The LMP2 is funner to drive. I think it's not the funnest thing to drive. It really does take a little bit to get used to, and usually I can jump in a lot of different cars and just run, but this I kept making mistakes in, and it's hard. There's the brakes. If you go barely over 80% or 75%, it spins. It's a lot of different factors. It's not the greatest, like, fastest car, but one thing I did notice in the chicane, you really don't have to slow down much. Usually you have to drop 3 gears. This, you only went down to 4, so I was like, okay. But yeah, it is a good car to learn prototype racing. You can tell it's got that bass into it, but if it's gonna be C class, I'd say if you're just going for getting it up and ranked, I'd just say go with a GT3 car, because those go from I think like D to B class. Really, I think you run them in A class too. So on that, I say just get a GT3 car. I think that those are always the best, whatever one. I will test the Porsche after this and actually see how good that thing is. But yeah, this thing is it's a handful to drive. Just looking at how it goes around the corner to see how wide I missed that corner there. But yeah, it's a handful to drive. It is hard to drive, but it can do probably some pretty good racing. With all the downforce, it probably creates a bit of draft or something, but I think it'll race okay. We'll see. But man, it is an interesting car to get used to. So if you're wanting to look at getting into the prototype racing, this is where you're going to start at. But it is a handful, so be ready for it. I like the interior. Sounds pretty good. But I'm going to have to give it probably... I'm going to have to give it probably a 6 or 7. We've just gotten so many road cars in the last however many seasons. We really don't need another one. I know WEC doesn't even run this. So it's literally just an IMSA ad, and I don't know how much longer they're going to have for it. So I'd say 6, 7. They could definitely add a lot of the cars. I hope they add Trans Am. That would be a lot of fun. Those cars look awesome. But yeah, definitely an interesting car to add, but didn't see a lot of people asking for it. So it's unfortunate, but 7 out of 10 for this one. So gonna be testing the Porsche up next. But if you guys enjoyed this one, leave a like, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.